Have you ever thought that the people you love today might not be here tomorrow? Life doesn't wait. It doesn't give warnings. It just ends. We argue, we forget, we say I'll call them later. But what if later never comes? Life is too short, and when it's gone, all that remains is regret or love. So listen closely, because this may be the most important reminder your heart will ever hear. Life is a delicate thread, finer than silk, stretched between the breath we take in this moment and the uncertainty of the next. We walk through our days believing we are strong, unshakable, and permanent, yet every sunrise reminds us that existence is not carved in stone, it is painted on glass. And glass, no matter how beautiful, can shatter in an instant. The truth is, we are all fragile. Not weak, not insignificant, but fragile, like a flame that glows brilliantly, even though one gust of wind could extinguish it. When we understand the fragility of life, everything changes. Suddenly, small arguments lose their weight. Grudges seem foolish. The chase for things that do not matter, the applause, the money, the trophies, feels hollow compared to the fleeting miracle of a single hug, a single smile, a single heartbeat. We realize that time is not a river that flows endlessly in our favor. It is a raindrop, brief and shimmering, slipping from the sky into the earth, impossible to hold. And so, every heartbeat becomes holy, every breath a prayer, every shared glance a treasure. Think of how quickly a story can change. One moment, laughter fills a room, voices rising in joy, light bouncing off the walls. Then a phone call comes, a diagnosis, an accident, a silence that feels too heavy for words. In those moments, we are reminded that life is not a promise, it is a privilege. We are not owed tomorrow, we are gifted today. And if today is all we have, what are we going to do with it? Are we going to waste it numbing ourselves with distractions, scrolling through life without living it? Or will we rise, even with trembling hands, and make this day count? The fragility of life is not meant to scare us. It is meant to awaken us. It shakes us by the shoulders and whispers, don't wait. Don't hold back. Don't assume you'll always have another chance. Because the truth is, we won't always have another chance. One day, the conversation we thought we could delay will be the conversation that never happens. The I love you we assumed could be said tomorrow will be the I wish I had said it we carry for years. The dream we promised ourselves we'd pursue when the time was right may turn into the regret of a lifetime. Life is fragile, yes, but that fragility is what makes it precious. Imagine holding a butterfly in your hand. Its wings quiver, colors shimmering in the sunlight. You don't squeeze it tight, because you know it could break. Instead, you marvel at its beauty, appreciating the fleeting moment before it takes flight. That is how we are meant to hold life, not with clenched fists, demanding control, but with open hands filled with gratitude. The fragility teaches us to soften, to slow down, to cherish. Because every person we love, every dream we nurture, every moment we experience, is just as delicate as that butterfly. So let us live with urgency, not the urgency of panic, but the urgency of passion. Let us wake each morning, not with dread of what could go wrong, but with awe for what is already right, the miracle of breath, the miracle of love, the miracle of simply being here. Let us forgive quickly, love deeply, and speak truthfully. Let us write the letters, take the chances, climb the mountains, and dance barefoot in the rain. Let us choose presence over perfection, connection over pride, and love over fear, because one day our story will close. One day the flame will flicker and fade. But if we honor the fragility of life while we have it, then when that day comes, we will not leave behind emptiness. We will leave behind light. We will leave behind a trail of kindness, courage, and love that outlives our fragile bodies. And in that way, though life is fragile, our impact is forever. So today, hold your life like a sacred flame. Protect it, cherish it, and let it burn brightly, knowing it was never meant to last forever. but always meant to matter. There are two forces that live inside every human being. One is as ancient as survival, the voice of ego. The other is as eternal as the stars, the voice of love. Ego shouts, demanding to be heard, claiming its place, needing to be right, needing to be seen. Love whispers, but its whisper carries the strength to move mountains, to heal wounds, to bridge distances that ego could never cross. And in the grand story of our lives, the question becomes this: which voice will we allow to guide us? Ego tells us to build walls. It says, protect yourself. Don't let anyone see your vulnerability. Don't give more than you receive. Ego thrives on pride, on being one step higher, one moment stronger, one argument smarter. But love is the opposite. Love says, open your heart, risk being seen, give, even if you don't get in return. Love is not afraid to kneel when ego demands to stand tall. Love is not afraid to soften when ego insists on hardening. And yet, how often do we let ego win? How many relationships have crumbled because the words, "I'm sorry," felt too heavy to speak? How many families have fractured because "I forgive you" seemed like weakness instead of strength? How many dreams have been lost because the need to be right was stronger than the willingness to be kind? Ego convinces us that yielding is losing, but in truth, it is only when we yield to love that we actually win. Imagine two people standing on opposite sides of a river. Ego keeps them shouting across the waters, arguing, blaming, defending. But love is the bridge. Love lays itself down plank by plank, turning separation into connection. And when they finally cross, when hands touch and eyes soften, they realize the river was never as wide as they thought. The only thing that kept them apart was their own refusal to build that bridge. We live in a world that glorifies ego. Social media feeds it daily. Likes, followers, comparisons, trophies, spotlights. We are taught to win, to dominate, to showcase, to prove. But what if the real victory is not in proving we are better, but in proving we can love even when our pride is wounded? What if the greatest strength is not in standing above others, but in kneeling beside them? What if the true mark of success is not applause, but compassion? The power of love over ego is the power to transform. It can take enemies and turn them into allies. It can take silence and turn it into understanding. It can take a hardened heart and turn it into a sanctuary. Love disarms the battles that ego thrives on. Ego builds kingdoms with tall, cold walls. Love builds homes with open doors and warm light. Which do we truly long for? A kingdom of isolation or a home of belonging? Think of the moments when love triumphed in your life. Maybe it was when you forgave someone who hurt you, even when your ego screamed for revenge. Maybe it was when you humbled yourself to say, "I was wrong," and in doing so, saved a relationship from breaking. Maybe it was when you chose to listen instead of argue, to understand instead of dismiss. In those moments, did you not feel lighter? Did you not feel more alive? That is the miracle of love. It not only heals others, it heals us. And yet, it is not easy. Ego is stubborn. Ego hates surrender. It tells us that if we bend, we will break. But love reveals the opposite truth, that bending is what makes us unbreakable. Trees survive storms, not because they resist the wind, but because they bend with it. And so do we. When we allow love to guide us, we discover a resilience that ego could never offer. We discover peace in the places ego only left turmoil. Let us be honest, ego has its place. It protects us at times. It gives us the drive to achieve, to stand up for ourselves, to survive in a competitive world. But ego was never meant to be the master. It was meant to be the servant. Love is the true leader, the force that turns survival into living, that turns existence into meaning. Without love, ego becomes a tyrant. With love, ego becomes a tool, a sharp blade used not to wound but to build. So, how do we choose love over ego in a world that constantly tempts us to do the opposite? We begin with humility. We begin with the courage to see ourselves not as the center of everything, but as part of something greater. We begin by remembering that every person we encounter carries the same fragile heart we do, the same longing to be seen, to be valued, to be loved. When we remember that, pride softens. When we remember that, compassion awakens. Picture a world where love is chosen over ego, not just in families, but in nations. Imagine leaders who put aside pride for peace. Imagine communities that choose forgiveness over vengeance. Imagine marriages that choose humility over stubbornness. Wars would end before they began. Homes would echo with laughter instead of silence. Children would grow up learning that strength is not in conquest, but in kindness. That is not naive hope. It is possible, but only if enough of us dare to choose it. Because love is not weak. Love is the fiercest force we have. It takes more strength to forgive than to fight. More courage to stay soft than to turn cold. More power to lay down your pride than to keep wearing armor. Ego may win the battles, but love wins the war. And not just the war around us, the war within us. For every time we choose love, we silence the voice that says we are separate, and we awaken the truth that we are one. So let us not be fooled by ego's loudness. Let us not be seduced by its hunger to always be right, to always be first. Instead, let us listen for love's quiet call. Let us answer it in the way we live, in the way we forgive, in the way we speak and give and dream. Let us allow love to stand taller than our pride, to shine brighter than our fear, to reach further than our hurt. Because in the end, when the applause fades and the trophies rust, only one thing will remain: the love we gave, the love we received, the love that lived beyond our ego. And when that day comes, when our stories are told, when our lives are remembered, let it not be said that we were great because of our victories over others. Let it be said that we were great because we chose love over ego again and again, even when it was hardest. That is the kind of greatness that never dies. That is the legacy worth leaving. Life is not measured in years, nor in titles, nor in the things we gather and guard. It is measured in moments, the quiet fleeting. Precious seconds that slip through our hands like sand, but leave behind a shimmer that outlasts time. We often think of legacy as something grand, something written in history books or carved into monuments. But the truth is, legacy lives in something far more delicate. Legacy lives in the moments we create, the moments we share, the moments we leave glowing in the hearts of others, long after we are gone. Think about it. The world rarely remembers the possessions someone held, but it always remembers how that person made others feel. A kind word spoken in a dark time. A hand reaching out when despair was heavy. A smile that lit up a room and reminded others of joy. These things are moments, and though they seem small, they are the seeds of eternity. We underestimate them because they pass so quickly, but it is in their passing that they carry power. A single candle may burn for only hours, but it can spark fires that warm generations. The legacy of moments is not about the length of life. It is about the depth of presence. Some lives are long but empty of meaning because they were filled only with the pursuit of ego, achievement, or things that fade. Others are heartbreakingly short, yet they echo louder than centuries because they were lived fully, with love, with authenticity, with courage. We cannot control how many moments we are given, but we can always choose what we do with the moments we have. That choice, that sacred choice, is where legacy is written. Imagine a child sitting with their grandparent, listening to stories told not from books but from memory, from the soul. Those stories, those laughs, those lessons, they weave a legacy more enduring than any inheritance. Or picture a stranger who pauses to help someone on the side of the road. That act may last only minutes, but in the heart of the one who was helped, it lives forever as a reminder that goodness exists. This is the beauty of moments. They seem temporary, but they plant roots that no clock can erase. Yet too often we forget. We rush through our days, eyes on the next task, hearts tangled in worries about tomorrow. We think we will have time later to call that friend, to forgive that wound, to say, I love you. But moments don't wait. They don't pause for us. They move like rivers, and once they pass, they do not return. That is why we must live awake. We must notice. We must hold the ordinary moments as if they are sacred, because they are. Breakfast with family, laughter with friends, silence under the stars. These are not interruptions in the journey. They are the journey. And when we live this way, when we treasure moments instead of chasing trophies, we begin to understand legacy, not as something distant, but as something we are building right now. Every smile we share, every hand we hold, every time we choose kindness over judgment, we are writing our legacy in real time. Legacy is not waiting for the end of our story. Legacy is being written in every sentence of it. The legacy of moments also carries healing. How many wounds have been softened? Not by grand gestures, but by small ones. A hug that said, I see you. A note that said, I believe in you. A simple presence at a bedside that said, you are not alone. Ego tells us that greatness is about scale. But love reminds us that greatness is about sincerity. A single moment of genuine love has the power to heal more deeply than years of silence ever could. There is also courage in the legacy of moments. Sometimes it is a moment of bravery, standing up for what is right, even when it costs us. Sometimes it is a moment of vulnerability, sharing our truth when ego would rather hide. These moments, too, ripple forward, teaching others that courage is contagious. When we dare to be real, we give others permission to be real. When we dare to love, we show others that love is stronger than fear. That is how moments become legacy. They multiply, not because we hoarded them, but because we released them. And here is the wonder. Moments outlive us. Long after we are gone, people will forget the details of our accomplishments, but they will not forget how we made them feel in a single conversation. They may not remember what we wore, what we earned, or what we achieved, but they will remember the warmth of our presence, the sincerity of our love, the courage of our truth. Those things will become stories told at dinner tables, lessons passed down through generations. Our moments will become someone else's compass, reminding them that life is not about the length of days, but about the love carried in them. So, let us ask ourselves, what legacy are we leaving through our moments today? Are we too distracted to notice the people in front of us? Are we too proud to forgive, too busy to connect, too guarded to love? Or are we awake, alive, choosing to pour light into the seconds we are given? Because one day, all that will remain of us is the echo of those choices. And if we choose love, if we choose presence, if we choose courage, then our moments will outlive our bodies. They will continue breathing in the hearts of those who walk after us. The truth is simple, yet profound. None of us can take our possessions beyond this life, but all of us can leave a trail of moments that shine like stars in the darkness. We cannot all leave behind monuments, but we can all leave behind memories. And sometimes, memories matter more, because monuments may crumble, but memories, moments, live in the soul. So, let us live not for the applause, but for the embrace, not for the headlines, but for the whispers of thank you that linger in someone's heart. Not for the trophies that gather dust, but for the love that never fades. Let us create moments worth remembering, moments of kindness, of courage, of joy, of healing. For in the end, those moments will be our legacy. And there is no greater legacy than a life woven with love. There is a truth we often try to ignore, a truth we push to the edges of our thoughts because it feels too heavy, too demanding. That truth is this: life is happening right now. Not yesterday, which has already slipped into memory. Not tomorrow, which is only a fragile dream we hope to reach. Life is unfolding in this very moment, with every heartbeat, every breath, every choice. And if we are not careful, we will spend so much time waiting, so much time planning, so much time hesitating, that we will miss the only time we were ever promised, the urgency of now. We live as if we have forever. We postpone love, telling ourselves, I'll call them tomorrow. We postpone forgiveness, whispering, I'll let go when I'm ready. We postpone dreams, saying, one day, when the timing is right. But one day is not a guarantee. One day is a fragile illusion. The only day that belongs to us is today. And every time we push life into the distance, we gamble with something we cannot afford to lose. Think of how quickly everything can change. One moment, a family sits together, laughter rising like music around a dinner table. The next, a phone call shatters the air. One moment, you assume you will always have tomorrow to say, I love you, to mend a broken bond, to chase the dream in your chest. The next, life is fragile, and its fragility is not meant to paralyze us. It is meant to wake us up. It is meant to remind us that the clock is ticking, not in cruelty, but in urgency, urging us to live while we can. The urgency of now is not about panic. It is not about racing through life with frantic speed. It is about presence. It is about realizing that what matters most is not in some distant horizon, but in the ground beneath our feet, in the air we are breathing this second. It is about understanding that every word spoken, every action taken, every heartbeat we are blessed to carry, is shaping the story we will leave behind. We often think greatness comes from grand achievements, but greatness is born in the small moments we dare to seize. It is in the courage to apologize today, instead of waiting for pride to soften. It is in the decision to love boldly now, instead of assuming love can wait. It is in the choice to begin, even imperfectly, instead of spending years planning for the perfect time. The urgency of now whispers, do not delay. Life is too sacred to be postponed. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean. You keep telling yourself you will dive in tomorrow, when the water feels warmer, when the waves seem calmer, when you feel braver. But the ocean is alive now. Its beauty is shimmering now. Its invitation is open now. If you keep waiting, you may find that the tide has gone, and with it, the chance to taste its wonder. Life is the same. Its gifts are not waiting in the future. They are flowing in the present, and only those who step in now will feel their power. There is a reason regret weighs so heavily. It is the echo of moments not seized. No one lies at the end of their life, wishing they had waited longer to live, or postponed joy a little further. They regret the words they did not speak, the journeys they did not take, the embraces they held back, the dreams they silenced. Regret is the shadow of wasted time. But hope, the hope of a life fully lived, is born when we choose now over later. The urgency of now also asks us to pay attention to what truly matters. So often, we waste the present worrying about the future or clinging to the past. But the past cannot be rewritten, and the future cannot be controlled. Only the now can be lived. Only the now can be loved. Only the now can be transformed into memory and legacy. And so, when we place our energy in this moment, fully, completely, we unlock a life that is vibrant, meaningful, and alive. Let us not confuse delay with safety. Waiting does not protect us from failure, it only protects us from living. The dream left untried is the dream already lost. The words left unsaid are the love already buried. The action left untaken is the difference already surrendered. Fear will always try to convince us to wait. But courage understands the urgency of now. Courage steps forward, trembling but resolute, because it knows that the risk of trying is nothing compared to the devastation of never beginning. And yet, there is beauty in this urgency, because it means that no matter where we stand, no matter how much time we think we have wasted, we can begin now. We can forgive now. We can love now. We can dream now. We do not need to wait for permission or perfection or the right alignment of circumstances. The power is in our hands already. Every moment is a door, and all it asks is that we walk through. Think of the legacy of moments you could create if you chose now. A call made today that heals a wound. A smile offered today that changes a stranger's day. A step taken today toward a dream that has been sleeping too long. These choices, these actions, may seem small, but they are not small. They are the building blocks of eternity. They are the proof that you did not waste your life waiting. You lived it. So let us rise to the urgency of now. Let us stop bargaining with time as if it belongs to us. Let us stop assuming we will have tomorrow to do what our hearts are begging us to do today. Let us live awake, alive, present. Let us speak the words, chase the dreams, mend the bridges, embrace the moments. Let us not be people who look back and say, I wish I had. Let us be people who look back and say, I'm glad I did. Because in the end, life is not about how long we walked, but how deeply we lived. It is not about the tomorrows we planned, but the todays we embraced. It is not about the distant someday, but about the urgency of now. And if we can live with that urgency, with courage, with love, with presence, then no matter how many days we are given, our lives will be full. Our legacy will be light, and our story will not be one of waiting, but one of living. So when your heart whispers wait, let your soul answer now. Because tomorrow is a promise, but today is a gift. And if we choose to live fully in this moment, we will never fear running out of time. We will know that we truly lived while we had it. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait for someday. Your moment is now. Your chance is now. Your life is now. And if you dare to claim it, the world will remember you, not for how long you lived, but for how boldly you live today. In the end, all that remains are the moments we embraced, the love we gave, and the courage we found in the present. So let us not delay. Let us not postpone. Let us live with urgency, with gratitude, with fire. Because the only time that truly belongs to us is now.